So, first question on the list, which is a pretty obvious one. Why did you start YouTube?
Um, so I started YouTube mainly because well, actually before FS Airsoft, I had a channel before doing kind of similar content to Uno Fideo, who you've interviewed
Okay,
before. And I really enjoyed it, but then I just got a bit bored, and obviously I started to have hobbies elsewhere. So I thought, why don't I just change it to Airsoft instead? And
okay,
start doing airsoft content, something that I actually enjoy doing. Like I don't want to be a fake version of myself.
okay.
Otherwise, it's just a bit bad, and you can tell.
How long have you been playing Airsoft for?
Airsoft. I started in August 2018, I think.
Oh, okay.
So, almost 3 years. Almost 3 years now.
How
But the
often do you...
YouTube stuff didn't. The YouTube stuff didn't happen until
Oh, okay,
like 2019, probably about August time then as well.
okay. How long have you... Well, how often do you play?
How often? Well, obviously, I haven't been playing airsoft like at all recently because like
Yeah, yeah.
Corona. But normally, I play like once, twice a month. Yeah, but yeah, about 2 times a month, I would
Oh,
say.
okay,
And then I just record enough so it'll last me like a while, and I can just keep pumping out videos.
okay.
I just have a backlog of videos.
Now, there's a question that I kind of had, came up with as a shower thought, I guess, but, um, what would you say are the... Because I'm just going and assuming that you've at least had some experience with playing video games.
Mm.
What would you say the difference between like Airsoft and say, I don't know, CS:GO is?
Well, obviously, it's, airsoft's in real life.
Yeah, of course. Other than that,
A lot of the game modes are quite similar and often based off of CS:GO and other games. Like
yeah.
obviously, Call of Duty plays a big aspect in the airsoft community.
Mhm.
Like we have games like Kill Count and wow, not Capture the Flag, Capture Point. That's a
Yeah.
big game that people play. Is very a lot of people that are in the airsoft community, I think, stem from like CS:GO and Call of Duty. Like there's Silo Entertainment. He did a lot of CS:GO stuff where he just like put CS:GO skins on his guns, and that bangs. Airsoft is like quite a small community, so it's good to tap into other communities as well and then bring them together.
I can imagine that. Yeah. So from a kind of tactical point of view versus like if you compared tactics that you use in Airsoft versus a video game, what would you...
Yeah,
Are they like
I
the
would
same
say
or...
it's totally different.
Okay.
Like um, for Call of Duty, I imagine it's like more run and gun compared to Airsoft.
Yeah, because
I would say, yeah, you're playing on a smaller map as well. Like it takes to get from one side of the map to the other. In Call of Duty, well, that's running in like a couple of seconds to the other side of the map. But in Airsoft, you actually have to like walk there, and it can take like a couple minutes. So the gameplay is can be quite slow. However, like there's Airsoft games that you can have up to like 3,000 people that I've been to.
Whoa,
So the
okay.
play on that is quite fast and quite rapid. So you have to like be on your feet quite often. But unless you're playing on massive games, I would say it's totally different. I mean, CS:GO kind of when you get down to like 1v1s or 2v2s, that can get quite like a slow pace, but it's still quite fast compared to like airsoft.
Okay.
Definitely more. It's a slower paced sport.
Yeah, I can kind of imagine because in video games you're not just one hit. You sustain
Yeah,
damage.
Exactly.
So like,
Yeah.
yeah, you can just kind of run in and shoot and expect to kind of just win. Whereas in
Yeah.
airsoft, I guess you'd have to kind of duck down.
Yeah, Airsoft has consequences. Although you can like respawn in most game modes, like you still get shot, which obviously like hurts depending where you get shot. And if you get shot, that you also have to walk quite a long way sometimes to your respawn. So that takes a lot of time to get back into the action as well. So I guess the driving force of Airsoft, which makes it different to most video games, is just like the time it takes to do stuff and the consequence as well. Because if there's consequences to you dying, although like in CS:GO, if you dive and then you've got your other teammates or if you're playing deathmatch or something, you can just spawn back in. But
Depends on
for Airsoft, yeah, for Airsoft, there's like actual like consequences, so you have to like play it more strategically. I think in Airsoft, the reason why it can be really slow
yeah,
is also because it's like organized to be slow. Like it's designed to be a slow sport
yeah,
because you've got like the milsim community. They're purposely designed to be like real life. So if you want it to be like real life, well, if you die, you're dead. So I think that plays a big part in the kind of gameplay that you get with Airsoft. And I try and with the game stuff as well.
mm-hmm.
I try and incorporate like the gaming aspect of Airsoft into my videos as well. Like I have hit markers when I shoot people. Like I it's all first person view.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like when you watch an Airsoft video, it's like you're actually playing a game, but the game is happening in real life.
Yeah. So equipment, do you buy your own equipment, and is that expensive?
Yeah, it can be. Starting off,
I would imagine.
starting off, you could probably just go for rentals, but like rental games are like £40. I don't know what that is in dollars or whatever currency that is,
I'll
but
just
for me,
convert it to the
it's for me it's like £40 for rentals. So if you think about it over time, it's easier just to buy your own stuff
screen. Yeah.
and just go. 'Cause it's like half the price of renting. But it gets to a point where you get bored of the stuff that you have, so you keep buying stuff, and you just get into an endless loop. Like I've got loads of airsoft guns, probably well over like a couple £1,000 worth. But
So
it's just starting off. You could get in for like a couple £100, and that's for the equipment, and then just start from there.
So in a way, it's kind of like I don't know, Fortnite cosmetics or whatever.
Fortnite cosmetics,
Yeah,
in a way,
you
it's expensive.
buy.
Yeah,
All of
it
stuff.
is. It is. You get on an endless buying spree of just stuff because it looks cool. Also, not only the cosmetics, just for the advantage of over other players. Like,
Yeah, I'd imagine that.
like obviously, the more money you spend, it's not a pay-to-win game, obviously, but it's
Yeah.
like the
You've-
more money you spend, like most sports, you're gonna get like
Better
the better outcome.
Better quality.
But also, it depends on skill as well, because if you don't know how to use the equipment, like a 500 pound airsoft gun compared to a 150-pound airsoft gun, if the person using the 150-pound airsoft gun is good and knows the gun inside out, and the person with the 500-pound gun doesn't have a clue how it works, then obviously the person who has more experience is going to have the advantage, even though he's got a worse gun.
I think that's where like the most in terms of like tactics and how you would tackle the game comes in between video games and like airsoft, because you've
Yeah.
got weight as a factor, you've got how to actually use the weapon, whereas in games you just kind of take the weapon, and if you have a better weapon in a certain situation, you're going to win that, or the game has certain weapons that are just completely overpowered, which will allow you to win. But in this case,
Yeah,
it kind of balances out a lot more.
that's exactly right. Like even though you get like a more expensive gun, obviously that gun is going to be like metal. It's going to be like full replica of the real thing. But if you're going to get a cheaper gun, obviously the cheaper gun is going to be plasticky, not plasticky, but like lighter in any sense. So you're gonna have an advantage in that aspect of just weight loss. You're gonna have you're gonna be able to move faster. You're gonna be able to change your position more. You're gonna be able to dominate the field more and just have the pace aspect. You can have that advantage over the other team. It's definitely definitely a good aspect of airsoft.
Yeah.
Is it's not something that you think about, but it definitely plays a big part in the gameplay side of it. Like you can definitely see it. You see people with LMGs that go around. LMGs are heavy, so I know in CS:GO you walk slower with like heavier
Yeah,
equipment.
I do believe that is a thing.
But it depends on that. It also depends on how healthy you are as well.
I guess
Your
your aim is an actual
exactly. I would say aiming on in real life is easier for me at least. Like I play CS:GO. I used to play it quite a lot. I've got like 600 hours on it, and
part. Jeez.
like I'm probably worse than the day I started. To be honest, I am not good at all. Like my aim is horrible in video games, but in real life, I would say my aim is definitely way better. Like, if you miss a shot, then you can just see where your shot went, and you can just correct it. And you can you have more control over the actual spray of the gun as well. So the aim side also depends on experience, like blowback as well. Like the more expensive your guns go, the more realistic they're gonna be probably. So a lot of them have recoil, which you have to account for. So if you are used to recoil, then you're gonna be better. And if you're not used to the recoil, then shot corrections are gonna be not your thing. But after a while, you start to get used to it. You can use it to your advantage.
Yeah, that would. I mean, so when it comes to the difference between aiming in game versus like aiming with a weapon in real life,
Yeah.
I guess you could say that it also kind of comes down to the gear, because if you have a very bad computer that can't run games well, you're gonna be able to aim less. Whereas I guess with the guns, as you said, it's whether or not you used to recoil or whatever the factors are.
Yeah, there's more variants of different gear, and people starting airsoft don't seem to understand that. Well, they don't realize at first that there's loads of different guns that you can get, and people quite often go for the most expensive thing they can find, because it's like, if it's more expensive.
That seems
exactly. If you think that the thing that's most expensive is going to be best for you, well, that's where you're going to fail, and you're going to lose interest in the sport. Also, not just because you don't know how to use the equipment, but also because, like, if you've got the top range gun, any other gun that you're going to get after that is just going to be unimpressive to you. You're just going to lose interest. It's just I can't see myself I can't see myself enjoying the sport if I started off with like a 500-pound gun. I don't know how people can do that.
I can imagine that you do get a lot of like gamers that, like, people that have previously played first-person shooter games that come in
like, of course,
big time, I know how to do these things, and then the strategies that they use for the actual game don't work because the game is diversely much more different.
You see people come in with like P90s and things, and then they have like a bunch of like anime stickers all over them. And it's like the first gun they buy. They go running around thinking it's like Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And they don't seem to understand that like one hit you're out. They just end up. It's not their fault because they're just used to other things. But like They go around, they think they know what they're doing, but they quite often fail. I guess they can use their tactics and
I guess some would
the
work, yeah.
same. Yeah, you can use the same line of thinking to make your decisions, but it's not the same. It's quite the opposite, and you're gonna struggle if you think that way. Like it's the same in I do army cadets as well. So in that, you get a lot of people that are like, "Oh, this is just going to be like Call of Duty," and then they get on to shooting their first a gun, and they don't realize that the recoil is actually like
Is yeah, hella.
way more than what they were expecting, and that's quite dangerous. So same with airsoft. If you don't know what you're doing, you can take someone's eye out potentially. No, you can lose your own eye. Like a big factor is the goggles that you use as well. So eye protection is a big part in keeping airsoft safe. Because if you take that off and you get shot in the eye, well, then you don't have an eye anymore.
Yeah. So this kind of came to mind just now. Like when you get hit, on a scale of 1 to 10, how painful would you rate it, and do you get used to being hit?
I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, on average, probably about a 3. However, some places on your body,
Okay.
there's different things. Like,
Yeah.
there's a place on your neck that if you get shot at like the right point, it'll just knock you out completely. It's like a pressure point.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And that is like the worst place to get hit. I've never been hit in that area before, but I've seen videos of people getting hit there and just like passing out on the floor. And it's insane. It
So I
is.
guess you kind of aim towards hitting in specific areas so that
Yeah.
kind of stuff doesn't happen.
The rule is aim for center mass, but if the only thing you can see is the head, well then I guess
You gotta go
GG.
for that, yeah.
Yeah, like snipers. When I started out airsofting, snipers weren't really a massive part. Like you'd be like, "Oh, it's a sniper. Oh, wait, don't worry, it's only got the same range as my AEG, so you can still take them out." But now the technology behind snipers and the ingenuity behind how people are making them, it gets to the point where it's like, oh, you actually have to take this into your brain. You have to actually like process, oh, am I going to be in this person's range if I get here, or can I run into this person's range if I go here? Like there's rules regarding like safe distance of firing. So if you're a sniper rifle, you can't shoot someone within 30 meters.
Okay.
So that's also another factor that you can use. You can run into their 30-meter zone, and then they're pretty much dead at that point because they haven't got really a way of shooting you.
Kind of eliminates camping, because most people that camp in video games generally lean towards like long-ranged weapons. You know?
Oh, you can still camp. There's definitely ways. Like I've had experiences. You can probably see it on my YouTube channel if you went there. There's
Link in description.
link in description. Go click it now. Subscribe. But yeah, there's definitely people that camp, and once I was in my spawn, and there's this guy. He came up round the back of us, which is GG. But we have like an area around our spawn which no enemy player can get into. It's like 30-meter radius. So I was starting to head back to spawn because I saw some people around it, and this guy came up my spawn and shot me as I was at my own spawn, and then they just keep shooting people. The marshal came over, told them to go away, and then they immediately walked out of our spawn and started lighting up our team from behind. It's just like you get people like that, and it's just sometimes it can ruin the game.
That's always, in my opinion, that's just always a scummy tactic, because you get people that spawn trap like that in video games as well, and like, why? It just takes the fun out of the game for everyone.
Exactly. I've had experiences like that before where you get like a party of people, like
Yeah.
I don't know, like a stag do, or like you get people going there for like a birthday party or something, and they're all rentals. They've never played before, and it just ruins the day because you shoot them. Don't call anything. They try and shoot you. They don't know how the gun works, and they're just firing nothing because they haven't put the mag in properly, or they haven't wound up the mag. So they're just shooting nothing, and then they aim at you and start firing air, and they're like, "Oh, I hit you." Well, no, you didn't, because you're not shooting anything.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times like that where my day's just been like ruined by it, but obviously, that's the minority of times. Like the majority of times, I've had perfect days out where I've just had no issues at all.
Yeah.
It's just been perfectly fine. But a big aspect to airsoft is sportsmanship and just taking your hits. Obviously, unlike paintball, there's no way of like marking being
Yeah.
hit.
Yeah.
It's just a game of honesty, and if you don't want to be honest and you just want to break the rules, well, it's not really fun for anyone. Like, I don't understand how it's fun for you being a cheater, and I don't understand how it's fun for anyone else. Like, what's the point of doing that?
I think that kind of gives us enough time, so we could wrap up here if you want to.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, cool.
Anything you want?
Yeah. I would say if you're looking to get into airsoft, definitely do it. Don't rush into buying expensive gear. Start off small and build your way up. Also, check out my channel. Link in the description.
Again, double link.
Yeah. Make sure you subscribe, like, watch my videos, whatever. I don't know. You don't have to, but greatly appreciate it if you do. Yeah, thank you. It was fun.
Yeah. Well, goodbye.